Computer scientists, Mr. Stafford here, and today I wanted to talk about Unit 3, Lesson 10 in the activity guide, Tracing Nested Loops. So, we have a couple of suggestions here on how to draw a trace table and how to complete the trace table. And so what we're going to do is flow down here to these nested loops. And so we see that we have the outer loop, which is right here, and the inner loop, which is right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep track of our line number that we're executing. And then I see that I have got in the outer loop this outer variable. So I'm just going to call that out. And then I have a conditional check in the outer loop, which is if outer is less than or equal to 5. So again, I'm going to abbreviate it. Out is less than or equal to 5. And then we go outer plus plus. Okay. So on line 1, I'm going to keep track that out is initialized to 1 and that outer less than or equal to 5. So I'm asking, is 1 less than or equal to 5? And that is a true statement. Okay. So then once that is executed, I get inside the inner for loop on line number 2, and I see that I have a different variable called inner, and I'm going to abbreviate it as in, and I see that that is initialized to be 1, and then I have this conditional check if inner, again I'm abbreviating it to in, is less than or equal to 2. And the way that it executes, that it increments each time is also inner plus plus. So I'm on line 2, in is 1. I'm asking, is 1 less than or equal to 2? And that is a true statement. So then I can go ahead and flow inside to this print statement. So I'm going to go print, and this is it's outer times inner. Outer times inner. So I see right now that out is 1, in is 1, so 1 times 1 is going to be 1, and that's what gets printed out. Okay, and that was actually on line 3, so I'm going to adjust this just so we can keep track of our line numbers. So this is line 3, and this is 1 times 1, which is 1. Okay, since the inner loop is still true, I'm going to go back to line number 2, and I've got inner plus plus, so in is now going to be 2, and I'm asking, is 2 less than or equal to 2, and that is a true statement again. And I still have outer times inner for my print statement, so that's going to be on line number 3. And so this is going to be out, which is 1, times 2, which is our in, and that is going to be equal to 2. Okay, so I'm going to keep flowing on. And on line number 2, I have inner plus plus. So that is now going to be 3, and I'm asking, is 3 less than or equal to 2? And that's a false statement. So what I'm going to continue to do is get kicked out of that inner for loop. And I'm going back to line 1. And out needs to increment. So that is now going to be 2. And I'm asking, is 2 less than or equal to 5? And that's a true statement. So then I get back into my inner loop that is on line 2. And my inner loop, I need to reset inner, that variable inner. It gets reset to 1 each time that I come across it. So again, I'm here on line 2. So inner is going to be set to 1, and I'm going to ask, is 1 less than or equal to 2? That's a true statement. So then here on line 3, I'm going to do outer, which is 2, times inner, which is 1, so that is going to be 2. And then I'm going to execute line 2 again. Inner is now 2. Is 2 less than or equal to 2? That's a true statement. So now I have 2 times 2, which is 4. And then that should have actually been on line 3, so I'm going to adjust that real quick. Line 3 was where I printed it out, 2 times 2, which is 4. Okay. And then on line 2, inner gets set to 3. 3, is that less than or equal to 2? That's a false statement. So then I get kicked out of the inner loop, and I'm going back to line 1, which is my outer loop. And outer gets set to 3. And I'm asking, is 3 less than or equal to 5? And that's a true statement. So then I'm going to flow into my inner loop again on line 2. And again, that inner gets set equal to 1. And I'm going to ask, is 1 less than or equal to 2? And that's a true statement. So then I'm going to go to line 3 and print it out. So this is going to be 3 times 1, which is 3. And then I'm going to go back to line 2. Inner gets set to 2. 2 is less than or equal to 2. That's true. So then I'm going to go my outer, which is 3 times 2, which is going to be 6. And I continue to put that on line 2, but that's actually on line 3. So that's 3 times 2, which is 6. And I'm going to increment inner. Inner is 3. 3 is no longer less than or equal to 2. That's false. So I get kicked out to my outer loop, which is on line 1. I increment outer. It was 3. Now it's 4. I'm asking, is 4 less than or equal to 5? That's a true statement. And we're going to continue this pattern. So I want you to see if you can continue this pattern and see if you can't finish up this loop.